Hello, I'm Steve and welcome back to the Ielts. This is the last lesson of Step 2. So without further ado, let's proceed to the lesson. For this last topic of this chapter, we'll be discussing the steps in agreeing and disagreeing. Agreeing or disagreeing is one of the most difficult functions you have to deal with during the test because it requires you to justify your points. You have to remember that the questions don't reflect the examiner's views. The purpose of this type of question is to assess how well you can justify your points when you agree or disagree with something. Agree-disagree questions are usually given in a yes-no question type of question. So your first task is to say either yes or no, and then use an agreement or disagreement expression. Aside from saying that you agree or disagree, you can add adverbs such as totally, definitely, precisely, strongly, etc. to emphasize your statement. Remember the importance of stress when expressing the degree of your agreement or disagreement with the topic. You must stress them in order to express your strong conviction regarding your views. Partially agreeing means you concede to the idea but have other concerns. To partially agree, state what you agree with, then add but or however to mention the points you don't completely agree with. This means you understand the point, but you still disagree for some reason. In the table are some words and phrases that you can use in constructing your own statements about agreeing and disagreeing. Take note to always paraphrase the question in your first statement. Here's an example of how to answer a question, whether you agree, partially agree, or disagree. This step is quite tough because this is where you defend your first statement. There should be at least one reason why you agree or disagree with an idea. It is advisable to not mention more than 3 reasons because you still have to give a situation or an event wherein your reasons are mostly exemplified. Remember to utilize your cohesive devices in giving reasons and examples to organize your answer. Take a look at this example paragraph. As you can observe in the answer stated above, only one example was given to support the main point. More details were given to explain why the examinee agrees with the topic. The last part is to provide a conclusion. There are 2 ways to end your answer in this type of question. The first strategy is to paraphrase the question or the first statement of your answer. Remember, in paraphrasing, either you use synonyms and/or antonyms, change the word form, or change the sentence structure. Here's an example of how the first statement was paraphrased in order to make a concluding statement. The second strategy is to speculate or predict future outcomes of your argument. To do this, we will again use the first conditional. Presented to you is the structure of the first conditional and an example of how it's used in creating a conclusion to your agreement or disagreement. Once all the steps are put together, the answer to an agree or disagree question will look like this. The only difficult part in agreeing or disagreeing is providing supporting ideas to defend your answer, but the structure is quite easy to follow. Practice answering questions about agreeing or disagreeing using the steps we've discussed. That's the end of step 2. Thank you for listening and see you next time. Bye.